Over the last week plus, we've seen a true roller coaster ride for The Flash, with some people's opinions who got to see the film from early screenings saying that the film isn't as good as it was hyped to be. And on top of this, just 2 weeks ago, we had early predictions saying upwards of 140 million plus, but recently, after tickets went on sale, it got revised to only 70 million. So let's talk about what could have caused this and what cause for concern is there going into the film's opening. So I will say this out the gate, nothing is set in stone. If you guys remember years ago, Venom, like months out, was not tracking as good as it ended up doing. There has been cases where a film overperformed, so let's hold nothing against The Flash up until the actual box office weekend is all said and done on that first weekend. But again, if we just follow trends, this honestly doesn't look good. So a lot of people have asked me to talk about what could have caused this, and let's just get into it. So first and foremost, I think that there's been this weird oversaturation of The Flash. And I know it's weird to say because it's like, wait a second, we haven't even seen it. And that's right, most people haven't seen it, but a lot of people have. And the constant response is, it's the best thing ever, you won't believe how good this is. And a lot of people were already apprehensive to believe this, so going into this, where everybody that's out there that's friends with the director or works in Hollywood that's seen it says the same thing, a lot of people automatically start to say, well, are they just defending their friends and are trying to land jobs with James Gunn? Like Edgar Wright, for example, which is a fine thing to say. Again, do I believe he's trying to lobby for a job? Not particularly, but you never know. But at the same time, let's rewind this back to what happened. So this thing has a lot going for it. It's a multiverse story, and we've seen that the multiverse sells. From No Way Home to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, to Everything Everywhere All at Once, to Loki. It's a very prominent thing now, so confusion is nothing that should be brought up into the conversation. The fans know what they're getting, the casual audiences know what they're getting, but clearly the drive isn't here for it. And what makes this even stranger is the Batman factor. You have Michael Keaton. And a lot of people said this film will push huge numbers because of Michael Keaton. But we're seeing that that's not true. So once again, what is causing this? What is behind this? And what has led to this 50% box office drop prediction? Well, the factor, that's the main factor in this, and I think we can't overlook it, is Ezra Miller. And I'm not going to dwell on it too long because you guys know about everything that Ezra's been involved with, but it's not good. And that has been very public. And I think there has been a response by casual people and even people that are interested in this that don't want to support and line their pockets. And that's fair. If people want to vote with their wallet, always do it. That's what I say. But once again, we got to talk about what is going on and why. And I realistically look at this as a DCEU problem. How many times have you been burnt by the DCEU? Probably more than half of their output, is fair to say. On top of this, more than half their output has literally been box office bombs. And their last two entries, Shazam and Black Adam, did unrepairable damage. Let's just be real. Black Adam's effect cascaded into Shazam 2. And Shazam 1 had a lot of goodwill, but a lot of those same fans did not show up because the writing was on the wall. And also, you got to think about the messaging. Do any of these films matter when we know a reboot of sorts is coming? So I think these things are in fact a major factor that more people are now aware of. And more people are now tuning in to nerd culture and are able to connect the dots. And I think Flash, honestly, had a lot going against it. From the lead actor, to all the problems, to, of course, what's been happening with the DCEU, to just WB Discovery outright being a pretty despicable place, especially run by David Zaslav, who is not, and very actively, against the writers. In a time where this film is coming out, and the film would not be happening if it wasn't for the writers. So there is a lot on this that I think WB is to be blamed for. And then, of course, there are people that are taking sides. Some people don't want to support DC because they're Marvel. Some people don't want to support this because they're Snyder. Some people want to support DC, but they want to support a vision that they care about. Which brings me to The Flash. Who is The Flash, and why do you care? He's appeared in how many projects? I want you to name them right now. And I want you to name the theatrical ones, not the Vanity Project Snyder Cut. And tell me how many projects has he been relevant in. Justice League Joss Whedon's version, which was not received well and a box office failure. So you are following up a lot and you have an uphill battle. And I think all of this honestly contributed to it. And not to kind of go into the negative territory here, but I kind of have to. The Flash isn't the most popular character. He's not. And there might have been some devaluing with the CW show, which I don't think is the biggest factor, but it is a small little factor in there, especially that a lot of people have grown attached to Grant Gustin, who did a stellar job. So I think it's a combination of everything, and it's going to be interesting to see just what ends up happening with this film and its results, because everything I just talked about is very valid, and I think this film has the ultimate uphill battle that's going to be a huge uphill battle for them to climb.